Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's episode, I'm excited to share my home lab journey so far and explain exactly why I've decided to hit the reset button, throw out my current setup and build an all-in-one home NAS server from the ground up. Just so you know, I'll be documenting the entire planning and build process I went through right here on this channel, complete with full tutorial guides, fixes and much more. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're instantly notified when we upload new content. Alright, if you're ready, grab yourself a drink and let's get into this. To give you some context, you might be surprised to hear that my current home lab prior to this new all-in-one server build didn't actually involve any Raspberry Pis. Now for my seasoned viewers who know I've covered Raspberry Pi extensively on this channel, this might come as a surprise. My whole home lab journey really began by using Raspberry Pi devices purely as a way of learning. I wasn't intentionally trying to build a home lab or a server, I kind of just sleepwalked into it. I was simply enjoying tinkering with the technology and in doing so, solving some small problems I had along the way. As someone who works in IT, learning Linux was a direct benefit for my career, so I fully embraced the learning process. As soon as my knowledge grew and the credit card sized Pi technology evolved, I soon realised these tiny devices could do much more for me. That's when I truly started to see the immense potential and benefits of creating a dedicated home lab. I quickly understood I could centralise applications and services, run them in a headless mode, and have them always accessible from any device on my network or even remotely from work. The real game changer for me was when the Raspberry Pi 4 arrived. It finally resolved the major bottleneck present in previous models by separating the USB and the Ethernet buses. This transformed the Raspberry Pi from being a learning tool into a capable full-stack NAS for me. Docker containers, file shares, backups, it could handle it all. Fundamentally, it opened the entire home lab world to me, and for that I'm eternally grateful to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. At this point I had a Raspberry Pi 4 with a mains powered USB hub and 4 USB hard drives connected. It all worked great for a while, but I eventually started to outgrow this setup. I quickly realised I needed more compute power and better hardware. Since I had already invested in 4 of these 4TB USB hard drives and didn't have the budget to replace them, my next logical step was to upgrade to a mini PC. This was a huge leap in terms of hardware. As great as the Raspberry Pis are, it's fundamentally an ARM device, and its major benefit, its low energy consumption, ironically becomes its downfall as a robust home server solution for me. Lower wattage generally means less power, which means less performance. I think you can see where I'm going with this. I wanted more power, and the mini PC delivered. With its x86 architecture, it allowed me to install more containers and truly level up my home lab. I have to say right now that using a mini PC as a home lab server is a fantastic option. It was rock solid for me and I honestly couldn't fault it. There are many great models on the market today that I still recommend, so check out the affiliate links in the description box below. In fact, I purchased 2 of these mini PCs. I started with the TrigKey G1 mini PC in July of 2022, which served as my main server for a year. Then in August 2023, I upgraded to the TrigKey S5 AMD mini PC because I wanted to run even more virtual machines and containers. This beast featured a mobile Ryzen 7 5800H up to 4.4 GHz, 8-core, 16-thread CPU, 16GB of RAM, which I upgraded to 32GB of RAM, and a 2TB NVMe drive. I then repurposed the G1 as a Picoin node miner, which is still going today. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below and I might feature it. This mini PC setup was fantastic, truly flawless. Not one day of downtime. But eventually it became messy, and crucially my data had no redundancy. In truth, it was a ticking time bomb. I was running Proxmox as a hypervisor, a couple of Ubuntu servers for Docker and testing, and OpenMedia Vault for my NAS storage needs. I kept the system going until May 2025, when a review of my home network sparked the realization that my entire home lab setup needed a complete redesign. By this time I had 5 4TB USB 3.0 Western Digital drives and a single 20TB Western Digital drive, all attached via USB ports and an external power hub. This housed all my data. It was serving VPNs, Plex, Nextcloud, Image, OpenMedia Vault, file shares and all my device backups. It had evolved into a bit of a nightmare. So this brings me full circle to today. I think you can clearly see from my journey that now was the absolute right time to evolve my setup and build a proper server. I desperately needed to declutter, centralize and simplify my setup, and most importantly, protect my data from loss. My old mini PC setup and those USB drives won't go to waste though. I plan to repurpose them as an offsite backup system, which I'll document right here on this channel, so stay tuned for that. I want to create this all-in-one home NAS server with clear project goals in mind. Not only is the system being built to replace my existing home lab, but I want to design it from the ground up to perfectly fit my needs, give me full control of both hardware and software, and most crucially, be scalable, so it can evolve and grow with me and my available budget. I thought it would be a great idea to document this entire project and share every step of the way with you all, in the hope that it might help you with your own home NAS project or inspire you to take the plunge. So once again, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to be instantly notified when we upload a new video. The benefits of having an all-in-one home NAS server are plentiful. Run separate virtual machines, host Docker applications, centralize, manage and serve all your media, dedicated systems for backup, save on cloud storage subscriptions, keeping control of your data out of the hands of corporations. All of these are a few great reasons why you might want to host your own home NAS server. So this is my journey, and these are my core reasons why I'm building an all-in-one home NAS server, and also why I think you should too. That concludes today's episode. Why not let me know about your own home lab journey in the comments below? I'd love to hear about it. Also, just to mention, I have started a Discord channel. It's in very early stages, so be one of the first to join. I hope to build a tech community there, run competitions, and get your feedback for future content ideas. It's also a good place to get any help or support. Just drop a question in the correct section, and I'll do my best to answer it. All that's left for me to say now is thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.